Hey, Craig. Okay, so here's what I'm going to go with. Because this shot doesn't really seem to fit anything. It's a little bit awkward and uncomfortable, the way she's looking at us, telling us to come in. Almost spooky. So I'm going to omit that, because you really only needed 4. So here is your vocational shot. You know, she's clearly working intimately with these children. Here is your environmental portrait. She looks great, you know. And then here is the long shot, and then here is the still life. Okay, so I'm still trying to download the meter shots, but it sounds like you used mostly a speed light for these. You used an on-camera flash, a strobe unit, yeah, a strobe unit. So speed light mounted on your camera. You used your, oh no, you did use your lamps. Okay, so I'll have to look at those. I'll have to open them. It's been downloading for like 10 minutes and I just gave up, you know. But I duly noted you submitted them. Thank you so much. You had some huge files. Wow. You know, for future classes, when you're submitting your files, you know, just go ahead and, you know, resize things. So because you can downsize to like 300 DPI and then say like, you know, 14 by 17 inch pages. And that's plenty of quality for us. Because I think you're giving us a lot more quality. I mean, I love looking at it, but sometimes it's impossible. I mean, if you were up until 5 a.m. just trying to upload the thing, there's a problem. You need to shrink your file size, okay? But thank you for getting it in, and we'll count it as on time because it was so close. So I think that this is a really good first attempt at a photo story. However, more pains could have been made to tie these images together. I think, you know, of course this and this go together really well. This makes sense because this is her place of business. However, because it's a daycare, we would have expected maybe any of these, let me get way back up here to the outdoor shots with kids, like any of these, like a wide angle shot of this in the backyard, you know, all these toys and things, would have been a little bit more telling. You know, it's fine, you know, you took a picture of her home, that's an obvious thing to do. However, it doesn't really add much to the story here. You know, it's just like, oh, there's a house, you know, like, oh, here's this interesting woman that we're learning about here. And there's a house, I don't know why that's there. And then this is a still life. And then also the still life, this is very arranged. And these may be things that are interesting to her, but they don't tell us much about her vocation. Like, yeah, maybe she plays baseball and won a trophy, played the flute, has a baby, and loves to play the piano. But it doesn't tell us much about her as a daycare worker, as somebody who takes care of other people's children. So a photographer's tip would be, you know, in this kind of situation, what you would be doing is, like, while you're doing your environmental shots and your long shots and your portraits, you know, keep the corners of your eyes open, your peripheral vision open to tiny little areas where you could, like, zoom in and get a still life. Like, even just part of a, you know, part of a jungle gym here could have made a really telling still life. Because this is very empty and oddly arranged, you know, this still life here. I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but the artistry is really lacking. And so maybe less arranging and more looking through your viewfinder and just trying to find arrangements that are already there in life. And then lastly, what I wanted to talk to you about is the quality of light. We would have expected the quality of light to help tie these images together. You know, in this case, I think the light is doing a good job putting visual emphasis on our subject here. You know, and she's crisply in focus. This is a great vocational shot. And then this is a pretty good portrait. There's some awkward compositional things going on above her. If you were even just standing slightly below her, you know, she would have had nothing but fence behind her, and that probably would have worked a lot better. Also, at f11, excuse me, you've got a really deep depth of field. You know, you could have dropped down your aperture, you know, to, like, say f2.8 or something, and then increased your shutter speed to equalize the well, make an equivalent, an exposure equivalent, and you would have had this this fence out of the depth of field. Right now it's pretty much in focus, not, you know, enough where it's distracting, and then we've got this stuff right above her head. So if you would have just changed your position slightly and changed your depth of field, this could have been a much, much more successful image. That being said, the backlight on her is just really beautiful, and then you're adding a little bit of light with your flash. I mean, it looks really nice. Yeah, I don't know, that's a picture of a building. People struggle with the long shot. And then, like I said, the still life just is, it's not fitting. It doesn't fit at all in this photo story. So I think your 2 successful shots are here. And just like I said, 2 little shifts, one shift in where you're standing and one shift in your aperture, which would have required a shift in your shutter speed as well. And this would have been a brilliant image. And then this is actually a really good vocational shot. And I'm going to admit that. I'm going to pretend that that's not there. Okay. Thanks, Greg.